Welcome to the weekly Oracle Wisdom. My name is Natalie, and we are going to have a look at what the Oracle cards have to tell us for the energies for the week ahead. I hope that everybody had a wonderful weekend. If you haven't already seen, I have put out the August 2026 monthly Oracle Wisdom that went out on Friday, which was the 31st of July. So make sure you go and check that out. Of course, my dailies are going live every single day at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. I have designed them so that they are for your next 24 hours from when you watch it. Okay, so we are starting off with the Ascending Life Oracle, and we are getting straight into it because there are cards jumping out. I think I want to pull two more and then we'll talk about it. Okay, we're just going to pull one more. Sorry, I'm just moving my trackpad. Okay, so we are starting off with surviving, barely hanging on, living paycheck to paycheck, burnout is knocking on your door, no savings, limited resources. Then we have playfulness, having more fun in life, not taking life too seriously, enjoying the little things in life, careful not to go overboard. Evil eye, you are protected, cleanse and protect your energy, jealous people nearby, careful who to trust. Boundaries, your boundaries are being tested, not surrendering, standing your ground, staying true to yourself. And then the final two, we have deep thinking, thinking twice on a decision, preoccupied with one's thoughts, self-reflection, being analytical and logical. And finally, the past, feeling nostalgic, mentally reliving the past, the return of past lovers and friends, the return of a past situation. Okay, so first up, I think that surviving and playfulness have come out together for a reason. I feel like this is the energy that we have been in. We've been feeling like we are barely hanging on. You know, I've been talking for a while about how intense all of this energy has been, and everybody's going through it in a very different way. And I get that I have been saying this over and over and over again for so many of my previous readings, but the reality is this is where we are. And we've got Saturn and Neptune retrograde, both in Aries. Mercury has started moving direct, but we're still in shadow. You know, there are all these things going on astrologically, and we are being tested right now. So if you feel like you are barely hanging on, just know that you are not alone. Playfulness is our reminder that we need to start having more fun. We need to stop taking things quite as seriously as we have been. And there are moments where life is just, it's overwhelming. And we sit there and go, how do we do this? How do we navigate this? But this is where we need to be able to laugh at ourselves. We need to be able to look at the situation in front of us and go, this is so insanely ridiculous that I just have to run with it. Just in the last few weeks, I went to Vegas. I had some tickets to a show. I missed being in an accident by literally a millimeter. A car full of young girls not looking turned left in front of me. I swerved. Thankfully, we missed a collision. They thought it was hilarious. I was very angry. So I get to Vegas. My car is fine. Yay. That night, I message a friend and I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened. Thankfully, everything's okay. She then informs me that she's driving on a freeway and hits a shopping cart in the middle of a freeway. Front driver's side of her car completely demolished, and multiple people hit the same cart on the freeway. So we're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm like, two things in one day. This is nuts. a week, 2 weeks later, I get in my car, the check engine light is on. I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Turns out it's actually a major issue with the car's motor. However, it's a part that the manufacturer obviously knows is an issue. And so it's under an extended warranty, even though my car is out of warranty. So the point of this is you have to laugh at the ridiculousness of it. The first accident, annoying, young girls being really stupid and not paying attention on the road. The other two things, thankfully, everybody's okay. Cars are okay. Things can be fixed. Nobody was harmed. But you have to laugh at it, because if you don't laugh, you will lose your ever-loving mind. So make sure that you are just finding those little things to laugh at, to find joy in, you know, celebrate the little things that are going on, that are going right. Just sit there and go, you know what, this is a win. I'm going to take this right now, and yay for me, and let's continue. The shadow side of this is not to take things too far. Don't get to a point where you're like, this is too difficult, so I'm just going to go so far into that world of having fun that everything else gets left behind. So the last thing I'll say is, if you are struggling financially, maybe just take a moment to re-look at your situation, reassess, draw up a budget, have a look at how you can improve things in your life. I mean, we are in a world at the moment where there are so many streaming services, and it's easy to sign up for things and forget that we're paying for them. I've got one that I pay yearly for a yoga thing. I now have a gym. So do I need to pay for the yoga? Probably not. So I need to cancel that. It's not a whole lot of money, but going through your bank statements, having a look at all of these things will make a difference to you. So just make sure that you are being proactive. If the surviving and the barely hanging on isn't just difficult things and difficult situations that are presenting themselves in terms of the energy that is going on, but if they are more practical things, have a look at how you can ease your burden. Okay, so then we have the evil eye. You are protected. Cleanse and protect your energy. Jealous people nearby. Careful who you trust. So it's a reminder that the universe has your back. The universe always has your back, even in those moments where it doesn't feel like it. But you do need to pay attention to who is around you. And this is why we've got the boundaries card, which I'm going to get to. But what I will say is, make sure you are protecting yourself. I'm a big one for when I do a meditation, I always do a cord cutting. Always make sure that I am clear of everybody else's energy. So the way I always do it, I don't do a guided meditation unless I'm wanting to go to sleep, and then I need a little help with that because I have trouble switching my brain off. But in terms of just meditating, I get myself into a meditative state. If you need a guided meditation, great, do that. But at some point, I always imagine anybody that is directing any energy towards me, I see it as strings or ropes attached to me. There is one person that I see as chains. So my method to remove that is a little bit different. It is somebody that I have a very strong soul connection with, and we are tied together for life, but I need to make sure that I am unencumbered when I'm moving through life. So I always picture a machete sort of moving down my body and just cutting free any of those ties that are attached to me. Your visualization may be different. So use whatever method you need in order to cut those ties. For me, I picture the machete sort of running over my body front and back. I don't know why I use an axe for the person that I see with a chain. And then when I'm clear of all of that, I balance my chakras, and then I cover myself in golden light, which is the color of protection. So just do little things like that. Maybe it's something as simple as saging your space or using frankincense for your space. Some people just do it energetically. Whatever it is that works for you, and maybe you need to research that, but just make sure your energy is protected, both the environment that you live in as well as your personal energy, because that's going to be the best way for people to have zero power over you. Now, in terms of if you have jealous people nearby or people that are untrustworthy, this is where it's important to have your boundaries. And you need to be very clear about those boundaries. Make sure you are being reasonable, though, because we live in a culture at the moment where people are overusing particular words, especially boundaries, and, I'm going no contact and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And some people absolutely are 100% valid in the boundaries that they're drawing, in the people they choose to go no contact with. But there are people that are absolutely unreasonable. So just make sure that you are being balanced in whatever decision it is that you are making. So you may find that people are pushing back on your boundaries. It may be about instituting new boundaries, because as we grow, as we evolve, as we become aware of different things that are going on and at play, these things get tested. So make sure you do stand your ground, stay true to what you need, and understand that if these boundaries are being tested because they don't suit the people around you, you guys have to find a way to work together, or maybe it is time to sort of move away from them. Either way, your boundaries are going to be important and going to be a topic of conversation this week. Then we have deep thinking, thinking on a decision, preoccupied with one's thought, self-reflection, being analytical and logical. So self-reflection, for me, this goes back to our boundaries. This goes back to thinking about the people around us. It also goes back to what we started this reading with, in terms of I'm barely hanging on. I need to have more fun. So you need to be reflective of the part that you're playing in all of this. Are you adding to your stress? Are you going, yeah, I'm able to laugh at all of this because it's so crazy and I've been through so much worse. You may be looking more deeply at decisions that have been made and maybe wondering if things could have played out differently. Maybe you're starting to see your part in whatever has taken place a little bit differently, because time and perspective often change things. I know that there are particular conversations I have had with people where in the moment I would have sworn on everything that I owned I was right and I was justified in what I said and how I said it. Time moves on and you learn more information, and perhaps I was correct in what I was saying, but maybe my delivery was off and there was a reason for the other person behaving the way that they were behaving. So I think that there is just going to be these reflections that take place. And I mean, talking about that, this leads us to the past, but we're going to come back to this. I think this is just a week where we are going to get caught up in playing things over, which is fine. We need to go through this. We need to learn from the places we've been. We need to sometimes relook at it and go, yeah, you know what? I did everything I could. There's nothing else I can do. Maybe we look at it and go, I could have played this out differently, and maybe I should have. Maybe I owe somebody an apology, or maybe you've taken responsibility for something that isn't your burden to carry. There was something from my past that I always knew was not my fault, but I was blamed for it. And I carried that for at least 10 years, if not longer. And there was a moment, it was probably 15 years. And there was a moment, because I was writing something and I was writing about this experience, and I realized it was never my fault. It was not my burden to carry. It was not my apology to make. And I was done. And the next time these people brought this matter up. I just went, I owe you nothing. I owe you nothing. I have said I'm sorry. It wasn't even my fault. Things should have played out very differently, and I should have been protected in this situation. So, I think there is just going to be this replaying of events that may go on. It may be, and it may not necessarily be the past. I think there is going to be a highlight on that, again, for the last card that came up. But I think there also could be deep reflection on decisions that are coming up for you and that you are going to need to make. So just make sure you're being fair and reasonable. Do not get so caught up in this endless sort of spiral of thoughts that you go off into a direction that has no basis in reality. So then we have the card, which is the past, feeling nostalgic, mentally reliving the past. So I think this is what ties into the deep thinking card. The return of past lovers or friends, the return of a past situation. So I do feel, and this is why I talked in depth about things from the past coming up, I do think that there are going to be things coming up which are from your past, recent or distant past. So there may be something coming up that needs to be dealt with, or somebody coming back in, and maybe this relationship, friendship, romantic, familial rekindles in some way, and both being in a different space, you're able to sort of find a way forward or to reconnect. It could just be somebody that has, drifted away because of time and circumstance. I know that certain friends of mine dropped off when they first had children, and it wasn't from lack of love for each other or not wanting to be in contact. It was merely they were caught up fighting for their life, trying to deal with newborns and marriage and jobs and whatever else they had going on. And then sort of as routine has come into play, they have sort of come back into my life. So it could be something as simple as that. It could be something much deeper, meaning it could be a past lover, it could be a family member, it could just be a situation that does come back up and maybe requires conversation. So, I think that it's going to be an eventful week. I think that your perspective is going to play a big part in this as to whether you choose to stay in the state of, oh my God, I'm barely surviving, I don't think I can do this, to, you know what, I'm just going to laugh at the ridiculousness of how impossible this all is, or how insane this is. And I'm just sort of going to move on and understand. I'm going to respect my boundaries, and I'm going to reflect on these things, and sort of be prepared for whatever comes up. Maybe it is getting caught in the nostalgia of what was and sort of enjoying those memories, and that's what fuels you to keep going. Or maybe it is the presentation of somebody from your past actually coming through. So I've got 2 cards from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. I just want to pull one more. Okay. So the first card out is abundance. Then we have opportunity. And then we have security. So I think that despite feeling like we're barely hanging on, I really do think that a lot of this has to do with the transits that we're in right now. But we are going to be okay. There is abundance in our lives, but part of attracting abundance is having the mindset of, I have abundance in my life. And you need to make sure that you're getting your headspace to that place so that you can welcome abundance in. If you are sitting in this place, that is what you're going to invite more of into your life. I always tell the story about the time where I was modeling. I was booked solid for weeks, which normally I could look at my diary for the next week on a Thursday and go, crap, I've got no jobs, or I've got my regulars that I see every week and I don't have anything beyond that. And am I going to be okay? And then Friday, something comes up for Monday. Then Monday, something comes up for Tuesday and Thursday. And you're like, okay, things are filling out. Like, I am good. At this particular moment, I had weeks solid of work booked. And I was so thrilled, and I was saying, I'm so grateful, and there's money coming in, and I can kind of just relax and breathe and know that I'm going to be okay financially. Because when you're working in any level of entertainment, no money is guaranteed. You've got to take all the work while it's there, because you need to be able to survive in those lean times. And as I was having this conversation, I see something in front of my car, and there is $100 bill just sitting on the ground, not near anyone or anything that would show me that it belonged to another human. And I was on the phone to someone. I said, you're not going to believe this. There is $100 bill on the ground. And they went, you're lying. And I got out of the car, I grabbed it, I took a photo, I sent it to them. And this is what I mean. When you are sitting in a place of gratitude, or sitting in a place where you see the abundance around you, more of that will come in. So just know that it is there. You just need to be in the correct place to see it. So this is what really makes me happy. I think there are going to be opportunities that come up this week, and it could be opportunities for growth. It could be opportunities for closure. It could be opportunities that are more in the physical world, or should I say in the material world. So in terms of work, whatever area it is, there is opportunity that is presenting itself to you this week. And ultimately, you are going to end this week feeling secure. If you have a look at this card, you can see the Milky Way. You can see that this setup, there is fire, so there is warmth. There are drawings on the wall, so there are clearly animals around. There is food. There is shelter over their head. You are going to feel secure this week. You're going to get that feeling of security. And that could come from changing your mindset around the surviving or the mentality of lack. It could be just drawing those boundaries and realizing that you are safe and you have created a safe space for yourself. It could be the deep reflection and having the realization of where you actually are, understanding certain situations that have taken place, or it could be whatever is coming up from the past, and that situation may be being resolved, or having clarity around it is going to give you security. But I think between the abundance, the opportunity, and security, this is ultimately a good week. I think that there is a lot going on. I think a lot of it has to do with our own inner thought process, our own inner workings. But ultimately, that's great, because it means you are in control of what the outcome is. And now we are going to pull one final card from the Emergence deck, and you will know that this is one of my favorites. I use it frequently on the dailies. Okay, there we go. So honeybee, devotion. When the honeybees are living their lives, they're devoted to the queen, they are devoted to the hive, they are devoted to their life's purpose. And this week, this is about you being devoted to what is going to serve you, what is your life's purpose. And none of us were put here just to survive. We were put here to grow. We were put here to evolve as humans. And that is what you're being called to do this week. And with the leveling up that is taking place in terms of recognizing where boundaries need to be set, recognizing that we need to hold our boundaries and stay true to ourselves, there is growth in that, in the self-reflection. and understanding the parts that we played in situations that have taken place, in reflecting how we're going to move forward and being honest about who we are, what we need, and how to proceed. All of this is leveling up. And when we are able to get to this place, abundance, opportunity, and security all present themselves. So ultimately, I think that this is a great week in terms of our growth. The way it plays out is completely up to you, but as long as you stay devoted to your life's purpose and the reason that you came here, you are going to be absolutely fine. I hope this reading resonated with some of you, if not all of you. As I always say, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Not every reading is for every person. Make sure you go and check out my August monthly Oracle Wisdom for 2026. And make sure you're keeping up with the dailies. I will see you soon.